Oh my goodness. I have to take a break. I've got videos that I've been putting up, planning. I don't usually want to do 3 videos in a day. 2's good, 3's a bit much. But I got to tell you, I keep seeing comments and I feel like, you know what? I've got to try to explain this a little bit better. People just aren't getting it. I did a bit of an in-depth review on this strategy in my previous DeFi staking platform video, but I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to try to keep this thing less than 10 minutes and just get to the meat and potatoes of this, because people really aren't understanding this strategy. And this has radically transformed how I'm staking in the DeFi staking platform using the DSP token. I mean, I believe that this is the way to be able to maximize your gains. Look, not everybody has, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 Tron to drop into a platform like it ain't nothing, especially something that can be high risk. So if you're coming in with 100, 500, 1,000, 3,000, you want to be able to maximize your gains. And I believe that this is a way that you can potentially do that. By the way, not financial advice. All of these platforms are risky. I actually have a video coming up tomorrow talking about a major flaw to almost every DeFi platform. You're not going to want to miss that. That flaw includes the DeFi staking platform. So just be aware that there are risks, and some of these risks you may or may not currently be aware of, but you need to know that it's risky. If you want to know specifically what that flaw is, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and give your boy a like for always trying to keep you informed. I appreciate you. Thanks for being a subscriber, and thank you for being a viewer. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hopefully my content is good enough that I can earn your subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. All right, this is Crypto Wealth. Let's get into this. A couple of things. Just a bit of a recap on where we're at. Yesterday was the first day that we had kind of a pullback. We didn't make a new high. My strategy when that happens, I will go in with like I'm going in right now with 1,000 every day, 1,000 Tron. I will come in with another, like last night, I came in with 2,000, kind of last minute, few minutes or whatever before the auction closed. The idea being, I don't know how low it's going to drop, but if I can get cheaper tokens from the previous day, then I want to do that. If we make a new high, if we come in at 14 million today, I'm probably going to come in at 2,000 or 13 million or whatever. If we make a new high, if we go back to 15 million or 16 million, 17 million, then I'll probably just keep my 1,000. Because I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know if it's going up or if I don't know if it's going down. That's my strategy going into the auction lobby. You do what you want to do. I don't recommend that you get into this. It's very, very risky. But if you are going to hop in, use my link down in the description. I would appreciate it. You get 5% more tokens. But just understand, this is a risky platform. Okay, so how do you maximize your earnings? This is the part that people just are not quite able to wrap their brain around. All about shares. I want to come to the stakes. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm doing. So it's all about shares. People keep focusing on how many DSP they're getting, how many DSP tokens. So this is DSP, and this is the interest in DSP. The actual token. This is true, by the way, for T2X. This is true for Hex, the original OG. This is important to understand, because this is where people keep getting caught up with how many T2X tokens am I getting? How many DSP tokens am I getting? I'm going to tell you that it probably, and I say probably because there's one caveat, but it almost doesn't matter how many DSP tokens you're getting. It almost doesn't matter how many T2X tokens you're getting. It literally doesn't matter. It does matter how many Hex you're getting, but that's because Hex is fundamentally different. Keep in mind, with Hex, the original OG on Ethereum, you never got back. People paid Ethereum in the auction lobby. They got Hex back. They never got Ethereum. It was all about Hex's value and hoping that the Hex value would go up. There was a strong incentive to hold on to your Hex so you could get these interest. There was a strong incentive to stake your Hex so you could get this interest. And shares existed in Hex, but people didn't pay attention to them because all they were really focused on was getting their Hex. T2X basically decided to share the wealth. The same thing with DSP. It was about sharing the wealth. Instead of a developer or some developers behind the scenes getting that Ethereum, that's what happens with, people talk about, oh, the developer staked a whole bunch of Hex for 10 years. Of course he did. He made a gazillion dollars in Ethereum. By the way, I'm not knocking Hex. I have some Hex stakes. But, I mean, to be honest with yourself, Of course he can stake Hex. It's really no value to him. He's made millions in Ethereum. With T2X, with DSP, they kind of share the wealth. 95% of all of the Tron that is paid to purchase DSP tokens, the Tron paid through the auction lobby, 95% of all of that Tron gets distributed to everyone else who's previously staked. How does it work? How does the dilution work? There's some sort of calculation, and it's a complex calculation. I'm not even going to pretend to be able to explain it, but it determines how many shares you get. The earlier and the more you stake, the more shares you get, and the less expensive they are. If you do a 30-day stake or a 10-day stake or a 15-day stake, and you think you're going to take these earnings like in the beginning, this is what was this, like a 40-day stake or 44-day stake or whatever it ended up being? This stake here, when it ends, yes, I came in with, originally this was only like 200 Tron. It's crazy to think about how fast we ROI'd in the beginning. I came in with like 200 Tron. But that 200 Tron is going to be 3,000 TRX. Now, a lot of people are like, well, you can take that 3,000 TRX and you can buy some more. Yes, but if you come in and buy some more right now, first of all, we're only getting about 170. That's where we were at yesterday, about 167, 162. So roughly 170 is all you're going to get because more people are coming in the lobby. But even if that was the case, you're getting a lot less shares. The amount of shares you're buying is more important than the amount of DSP you're getting. And it's even more important than the price of DSP. Because look, let me show you something. Right here, 200 DSP tokens only got me 183 shares. 200 DSP tokens got me 203. You see that? 175 got me 153. 177, that was 1 day apart. So it's not as good of an example. Yeah, there's just not a good example. You know what I'm going to do? I'll do this. I'm doing all my stakes right now, by the way, for 300. I'm pushing them out 365, 365, 365. Well, 365 plus right now we're at, here's how I do it. 384, so we want the end day to be 385, so I think that's 395. Just confirm. Oh, that's too far. There we go, because we got 10 days. We're on day 10. So 375 days is where I'm at. And we're going to do a stake. I'm going to do a 200 stake. I'm trying to do about 1,000 Tron worth. And what I do with these, by the way, these are referrals. Those of you, I appreciate you so much. It blows my mind that you actually would even consider using my referral link. So I appreciate that. I'm splitting them up in roughly, I'm trying to split them up in roughly what $1,000 worth of, 1,000 Tron worth are. And I'm trying to do 1,000 Tron out 365 days plus, and I'll explain more in a minute. But so here's the idea. Let's stake 200. Let's see what we get. By the way, always read. I'm going to be talking about that in a future video. Make certain you know what's happening. Don't just click that. Don't auto click that button. Okay. So now we should see 385. Okay. I got 175 shares. If you come down here, I got 201. 183 on day 7. This is 3 days later, and I'm down to 175. The shares determines what percentage of the pools you get. How many shares you own determines what percentage of the dividends you get. So if you stake every 30 days and you think you're just going to compound, you're just going to compound, you're just going to compound, the problem is your shares are going to become more expensive, more expensive, more expensive. And my assumption is that they become far more expensive than your ability to compound. That's not going to be like an exact science, but you also don't know at what price you're getting those shares, meaning how much more expensive does the lobby get or how much less expensive does the lobby get. So my strategy is to essentially dollar cost average into the lobby. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till we get a little bit closer today to see where the auction lobby's at, and then I'm going to let that determine my amount that I'm going to use to spread these on out. But I started at 365 days. Now, people keep asking questions. They're like, "What if you end early?" I'm going to show you that in a minute. But the reason that I want to do 365 days plus is because there's very limited penalty if I cancel, and I want to own the cheapest shares possible for as long as possible, because it creates a big vacuum essentially. This is what's going to cause you got the big stakers, guys dropping 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 Tron, and you want to figure out how can you kind of suck up all those dividends. You just stake long term. If you're able to maintain the stakes, if you don't touch them, you're going to make a boatload of DSP tokens. Everybody's always worried about the DSP tokens. You're going to make a boatload. But the DSP tokens, just like the T2X tokens, are going to go down rapidly in value. So it's not so much about the DSP tokens. The DSP token price is directly related to their earnings. But keep in mind, they are issuing new tokens every day. 2 million plus, almost 2.5 million tokens per day are getting issued. That's massive inflation. That drives the price down, meaning the amount of tokens that you stake today to get a certain amount of dividends, or to get a certain amount of shares, which allows you to get dividends. I hope you just called that. That's the most important part. It's the amount of tokens that you can stake to get a certain amount of dividends. By the way, this is one that I canceled by accident. Well, I didn't cancel by accident. I staked it by accident. So, for example, right now, 170 DSP will get you 148 shares. So that's going to, it's going to take more and more DSP to get the same number of shares. DSP token price on the exchange is going to be directly related to its earnings. Its earning ability per DSP is going to go down drastically over time. So if you think, I'm just going to get like 10 million DSP tokens and I'm going to sell them and make, 4 Tron each, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The price is going to keep going down. There is a couple of caveats to that. I'll hit on that for a second. But without knowing what the developers plan for the DSP token, the result is you get and I think this is almost a design flaw that we're able to take advantage of. And the reason I say it's a design flaw is because keep in mind, originally this came from Hex. Hex was all about getting more Hex tokens. You did not get dividends in Ethereum. All you earned was interest. You didn't actually get, when you staked it, all you staked it for was more Hex. That was it. So when all of a sudden 95% started coming back, the TRX earnings is far more valuable than the DSP. When you stake long term, like I'm staking out for 365 plus days, when I do that, what ends up happening is my earnings per DSP stays really high. Where if you in-stake in 15 days, 20 days, 30 days, and you keep trying to restake, the earning ability of those same DSP is going to be far lower. So I'm able to maintain the earning ability of my DSP longer because I'm able to get shares, more shares for the same DSP tokens. I hope that's making sense to you. It's all about how many shares you can get. And then it's a matter of staking them for as long as you can. Now, what happens if you in-stake early? So if you in-stake early, because everybody asks about this, if you in-stake early, and by the way, this is vague, and I think this is vague on purpose. You will get a penalty equal to the profit of half of the days you committed to. But that penalty, remember, this came from Hex. It's referring to your DSP tokens. This TRX is already here. If I cancel right now, I get those TRX right now. I'm not going to get my future TRX. In fact, I'm not going to get today's TRX. The moment you cancel, your earnings stop immediately in TRX. You're penalized based on, so right now we're on day 10. So right here in this case right here, I've got roughly 37 days of earnings left. The interest that I would earn, I'm going to be penalized by half of that. So it's going to come against this, whatever that number is. And if it's beyond, say it's 15 DSP, it's going to probably cut into my original balance, I think. I'm not exactly sure about that. But all I'm going to lose is DSP tokens. I'm not as concerned about that. So in my case, I'm staking, I'm doing 1,000 Tron stakes, or roughly, they're about 1,000 Tron stakes a year out. If I need to in-stake early, I just in-stake early. It's all about getting as many shares as I can for as cheap as possible. So when these people are in-staking every 5 days, 15 days, 20 days, you and me, we're going to be like freaking TRX vacuum cleaners, just sucking those dividends as they keep unstaking, instaking, and they're gonna just reinvest. Again, this is bad for referrals. Like if you're trying to promote referrals, and I don't know, maybe some people, that's why they don't like this strategy, because they want people to keep rolling over and keep compounding so they can keep getting those referrals. So this is technically bad for referrals, but it's good for you who are just trying to earn. I mean, that's the name of the game. Hope this made sense to you. Hopefully this clarified things a little bit for you. I'm going to put this in my DeFi staking DSP token playlist. I'm going to link the playlist at the bottom. I'll put the playlist at the end of this video. Make certain that you watch that entire video so you're able to maximize your earnings. Now, I want you to understand something. The caveat to all of this is if the developers can create a strong use case for the DSP token. I know they're planning an internal exchange, and that's good. That will help increase earnings because less people will stake DSP and some people will become a liquidity provider on the exchange. So that's a good thing. But if they actually go further, and I don't have any hint that they have any grand plans. I mean, let's just face it. They basically copied this contract from T2X, who copied it from Hex. So I don't think these are like inventive, imaginative developers. But if DSP and T2X, for that matter, create a much stronger use case for these tokens, in that case, the token could become very, very valuable. But we don't have any indications of that at this point. So at this point, I think it's about just maximizing your TRX earnings. And that's what this strategy is about. It's about maximizing your TRX, your Tron earnings. If that makes sense to you, let me know down in the description. And if this strategy makes sense to you, just tell me this, go down to the description and just comment, I get it. I get it. And go watch my entire playlist just so you can make certain that you understand how this platform works. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification icon. Remember, crypto equals freedom. This is Crypto Wealth. I'm out.